Kevin Mickelson at the Berserkon chat, ready to receive any questions. Connor and Scott will be joining us soon.
Hooray!
Woo!
I'm just going to share it over here a little bit.
Right on, right on.
Berserkon. So, just because I'm kind of curious myself. What did the first beginnings of Berserkon, like, how did that work in your brain? Like, back in 2013 or 2012, or whenever you got, the hitch in your giddy up to make a con happen.
I went to PaizoCon, and that was because of the Mask of Death. That was my first gaming con, ever. Which was pretty rad, and then I went to Gen Con. And
hold on a second, back up, Kevin. I just, first of all, to anybody who is watching and listening and does not know who Kevin Mickelson is, what do you mean about the Mask of Death? What? Tell me about that. What's going on? I obviously know the story, but
okay. That's the module from Gamers 2 Darkness Rising. And they had released one in Gen Con 2007 for D&D 3.5, which became incredibly rare because...
so rare. Holy smokes.
Have you ever held one in your hands?
Briefly, yeah. I think it might have been... Yeah, it was a prop, actually, in the actual movie. And we thought it was just, so neat because it had the old dungeon crawl kind of, style of art.
Yep, Dungeon Crawl Classics 22.5. But the prop you had just said Dungeon Crawl Classics 22, and I know this because I watched Gamers 2 about 5 million times as I was making Mask of Death. So that was a really arduous fan experience too, because I would go through and I'd frame by frame, okay, there's one quick second where Lodge has got this map out in front of him. Which I would freeze frame, and then I would add to the map of the module.
Looks like we got Connor. He's watching, but can't join. So, whatever you did to send me an invitation, send one to Connor.
Let's see. How did I? I must have sent it to his wrong.
Yeah, the one with the face. I think. He has another one.
Okay. Let's see if I can remember how to do that.
It looks like a swing set.
Looks like a swing set. Okay, I thought it was scales. Settings, probably not settings. This is all. Somebody on my telephone. Let's see. This is Connor also. Oh God.
Hooray, technology.
Yes. Well, it's great. It's not technology's fault that I'm bad at it. All right, let's see. Now, this is from Scott. Okay. That's okay, because Scott's also having technical problems, so I feel a little bit better. Darn. How the heck did I do that? Links, that's the event page, so that's not what we necessarily want.
I see Seth tap. Is this thing on? Thank you, Seth. Yes. Isn't it great? Well, you're figuring that out because I can't really help you at all.
Right.
I'm gonna at least take up the storyline. So
Okay.
So as far, and feel free to chime in if I'm wrong. So there was a Mask of Death module that we did for Gamers 2, and it was made by forgot the actual. Wow. Scott says my Surface won't connect. Trying iPad now. Oh man. Oh anyway, so there was this module But like it got discontinued. It was like only for a special like Gen Con, I think 2008 or whatever. Like it was just made for that, and so they weren't going to make more. And so Kevin, who popped up in certain things from time to time, like comments on page and whatever, said, hey, I'm really interested in making a module. Would that be okay? I mean, because of the Creative Commons license and whatever, with our stuff, we're like, yeah, sure, that's something that you can do. Please do make fantasy fan art kind of stuff. And so he continued going with it, and he actually got in contact with Ben Dobbins and Matt Vansel and the people at Zoe, and essentially, like, we liked the cut of his jib, and we wanted to have more of it, and kind of like help him out a little bit, and so they went into a lot of talks, and Kevin ended up making the Mask of Death module, which is one we like. They have at cons and things like that, and it's available on the website. And I've actually got to play it like twice now, and it's super duper fun. I mean, like, he really went into like so many different details, and just incorporated as much of the flavor of the movie as he could. And he even has like Brother Silence. He has like a lightsaber that he can't really use. I mean, he can use it, but he's like really terrible at it. And hey, there's Scott.
Hey, Scott.
Hey.
How you doing?
Great.
Glad you could make it, man.
But
yeah, way too much problem to try and make it.
You had way too many problems?
Critically difficult. Yeah, Surface RT doesn't work for Hangouts, and then I had to install a bunch of stuff on the iPad. And it's just, come on, seriously?
That's okay.
You're making me feel better right now, dude. Thank you so much. I had some trouble getting this to go. So now if we can just get Connor in.
Yeah, it looks like you're sending him the link to join, the chat, kind of like watch it as opposed to be in it. So
okay.
Yeah, whatever you just did to Scott just now, we need to send that to Connor.
I opened up the email that had the link.
Oh, cool.
That's all that I did.
I assume you've also sent that email to Connor?
I sent it, I guess, to his other address, and I'm just going to track that down and forward it to the right one.
So,
I think so long as he's in Gmail, he'll be fine.
Okay. For some reason I can't find it. Could one of you guys forward that on to Connor? The email you clicked on?
I just sent it to you in our little chat box we got going on. Do you see it?
Yeah, I see his email here. So I just got to figure out. Because the option kind of seemed to have gone away after I started us. It's probably somewhere else, and I just can't find it.
Hold on.
Okay.
All right. So, while Scott and Kevin are still figuring that out, yeah. Anyway, back to the story. So Kevin made this module, and we got to play it. And then I think he's mentioning how he went to PaizoCon to kind of like promote the module Mask of Death. And I guess looked around, liked what he saw, and kind of got inspired. Is that about the way it happened there, Kevin?
Yeah, well, I mean, there had been a Kickstarter for the Mask of Death that was still going on during PaizoCon. And one thing that we wanted to do was have as many of you guys as, play testers as possible. So I had this big old stack of, unfinished, unpretty paper with me. And we got to go to that amazing game store, D20, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that place was phenomenal. And
Looks
had a
like
great.
Connor's original invite says it's expired.
Oh, darn it. Okay. So that's not the right.
All right, well, how about this? Like, you guys continue work on that, and I'll try to vamp. How about that?
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
All right. So let's see. All right. So I got to go into the first Berserkon in 2013, and it was at the DECC, the DECC. Oh, hey, cool! You joined the call. Sweet.
Awesome.
Well, in that case, if we're all
Great
copacetic, then
That's right.
we have audio for Connor.
Yo. Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed.
We can hear you. How you doing, Connor?
Comment on that, and I'll try to vamp. How about that?
Okay. We can hear us too.
Oh, you gotta turn off the YouTube thing though. So let's see. So I got to go into the first Berserkon in 2013, and it was at we can hear all of what I just said, Connor. Oh, hey, cool. Sweet.
Awesome.
Well, in that case, you can also mute him, by the way, Kevin.
Great.
Am I in? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Audio for Connor.
I can see me.
Yo. Oh, cool. We got camera now. We can hear you. How you doing?
Comment on that, and I'll try to vamp. Yeah, Connor. We can actually hear the YouTube thing, like you have it playing somewhere. You have to mute something. I got to go into the first Berserkon in 2013, and it was okay.
You have headphones, Connor?
Oh yeah, Connor, do you have headphones?
Okay, that's gone now.
How about that? We good?
Okay, I don't hear us anymore. Cool. Yeah, what was happening is like we were talking, and about like 30 seconds later there was a delay, and we'd hear it through your video.
I'm living in the past, Brian.
That's okay. That's all right. If I'm
Thanks a lot for making
does
it,
that
Connor.
somehow make me more powerful? I can tell you what it's like out right now, here in the future. It's very nice.
Is it?
Yeah.
You have robot legs?
What now?
Just like robot body parts.
Not quite yet. We're very close.
It's going to be all be about robot body parts.
Yeah. I think the first. What would be the first robot body part that you would get if you had the ability to? I think.
I don't need that body part as a robotic attachment.
I don't think
I'd say new robotic knees or hips. Maybe ankles.
Well, could we just say legs? I mean, just the whole undercarriage?
Sure. You bet.
Would you put your brain in a robot body?
I like that. It's like somehow a Scott walking up to the robotics folk and just kind of like, can you give me a whole bottom undercarriage? I want the whole deal.
All of that. All of that.
Hydraulics are important to me.
Got to keep that lubricated.
Gotta keep it lubricated.
I think I'd probably get a robot left hand. Because I'm actually trying to train my left hand because I'm getting, and don't go there. Hear me out. Right. So at work, I'm constantly just using the typing. I'm getting the carpal tunnel business kind of stuff, and so I'm my right hand is beginning to really hurt, and kind of get tingly and stuff like that. So I need to I've noticed throughout life, I don't whisk, I don't cook, I don't do nothing with this hand other than support of this one. I'm carrying things. So if I got a robotic left hand, I wouldn't have to worry about having to cultivate all those fine motor skills. It'll just come in the package. I'll just get a patch for that kind of stuff, and then.
Well, I mean, you still would have to though. I mean, your brain would have to start sending the right signals down to it.
Future. I don't have
Well,
to do
I mean,
anything in the future.
Luke Skywalker didn't turn left-handed, man. You know, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Was his
for the record?
His right hand or his left hand?
Oh God, I hope it was his left, or else I just lost mad cred.
I think
Oh, yeah.
I can see the left. He's going like
Yeah. Because, like, in Empire, he got the little pokes on his hand, and I think it was a left hand. But now I have to look.
Mario Garcia says time loop. That's true. We addressed that. Thank you very much, Mario. I appreciate you watching our fumblings to actually get to the actual show. By the way, like, it's very nice to see you all.
Where are you seeing that? I don't see
it's in
anyone but the four of us.
Oh, it's when you go to the thing on the left that says Q and A. People are able to, write down questions and stuff.
It's not on my iPad.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. I can see it.
Okay. Awesome.
Mario actually tells us right hand. It is.
It was. I just looked, and
nice job, Mario. You've done good.
The power of Google Foo is strong with you.
See, this is why I should Google everything before I say anything. But one day.
You gotta make bold choices and then just be wrong and be like, well.
It's a good general rule.
So let's talk about
Google
Berserkon.
that shit.
Let's talk about
Yeah. I mean, the reason that I, started Berserkon in the first place, like we were talking about earlier, is I had been to some conventions to promote the Mask of Death, which is the module based on Gamers 2 that I was like my first writing job ever. I'd been blogging until then. It was super awesome. It was an amazing time, and then from there I went to Gen Con. Then I came home and looked around Duluth, looked at the fact we have 3 really cool game stores within 5 miles of each other. And a lot of really nice convention space, and said we should have one of these too. And so that's just what kind of set that off.
Mario says iPad is a pain in the butt. I had to abandon mine as well to get a Q&A to work. Nerd power, no Google needed. All right.
All right, there you go.
That was directed right at me, and I walked away.
Yeah, it was. That was your question there, comment right there.
What was the answer?
The answer was awesome. Third base.
Okay.
So I got to go to the Scott and I actually got to go to 2013. Did we, Scott?
Yeah.
Did you go to 2013?
What? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Who's up first?
Andy and Trin and Vansel and you and I, right after we got done shooting Natural One and Party Humans and Households.
That's right.
In fact, where we were introduced to, I don't know if I can get this into the thing right.
You were introduced to free shipping.
$5 coupon offer.
Tim Hortons.
You were introduced to coupons?
No, we were introduced to. Isn't it Tim Hortons that's to get the coffee shops in Canada? I don't know.
Yeah. But the video.
I think Tim Hortons is a Canadian coffee chain, yeah.
When did we become so old as to not be able to use technology?
I don't know. It keeps on going. And
We were so cool at one point.
It's true.
We were all...
Oh well. We wrestled it into working now.
So you guys have already been to Berserkon in 2013. I've never been to Berserkon. I'm going this year, and I'm about as pumped as they get.
Yeah, we had a lot of people for 2013. We had a ton of people in 2013, and it was really, really awesome. Had a good time. Got to do the gamer cruise, which was kind of a highlight, I thought.
Absolutely.
And Artemis was super rad also. And back then, I wanted to get Connor to come with us, So getting him, out into Duluth this year is something that I will be really excited about.
Me and Duluth, we've got destiny to work out between ourselves. It's been a long time coming, Duluth, but here I am, baby. And I'm ready.
I'm coming for you.
I'm coming for you. Lake
I don't
Superior?
think Duluth is ready for Connor Marx.
Yeah. Lake Superior once I'm there. Holla! It's not.
You can't handle the Connor.
We're also kind of excited about Romance: The Nine Empires. Having a tournament out there is something I'm pretty excited about, and I've got the box set.
Cool. Yeah, we at ZoeCon 2, we had a... By the way, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting people. I think I've got a very, very, multi-second lag going on, so sorry if I'm jumping over people.
Sorry. Oh, it's all good. Go ahead.
We did a Learn to Play in a tournament for R9E at ZoeCon just in November, and it was actually... It worked out better than I imagined. It can be somewhat of a complicated game, but we spent an hour teaching it. And there was just a really enthusiastic group. We probably taught 20 new people to play the game over the weekend.
Oh, that's awesome.
Maybe they do the tournament and then go on to enjoy the rest of the con. But people continue to play the game amongst themselves for the rest of the 2 days. They just had their own little mini game.
That's so rad.
Yeah. They had their own round robin.
Did Coley did he win that tournament?
He did, yeah. I think that he would. I was impressed. He had masterful skill at that game, and he and I did not get a chance to play. So we've got an ongoing, just sort of challenge hanging in the air.
Right.
But there was the guy who came in as a runner-up had never played the game before, just learned it 5 minutes before the tournament, was handed a random deck, and ran three or four wins and one loss, and his one loss was in the championship to Coley, and it was he barely lost. And I just thought that was cool.
Oh yeah, that's hella cool.
And the thing about the game, that the factions are such a strong thematic point that for the rest of the con, people were crying for Holden or Malchior or Ikshasa and Displace, whatever. They bonded to their faction, to their clan. It was cool. It was fun. I think everybody had a good time.
Yeah, that's good.
Which faction did Coley play, and the dude who went 3-1? Do you remember?
Oh, let me see if I can remember.
Coley played the Ord.
Yes. No. Oh, he did. Oh, I was going to guess something else.
I think he was the Ord, and I think the guy he was playing against was also playing the Ord.
Oh, I thought Coley was a Tuatha man. Although maybe Tuatha is not one that's available.
Yeah, he would be mad at me to have gotten that wrong. You are correct. He made his own human deck with the Tuatha.
Is Tuatha a playable deck in R9E?
Yeah. It came out in the expansion, Arcane Fire.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's not a pre-gen, so if you want to play Tuatha, you gotta build it yourself. But he's the guy to do it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, I got a Malchior deck that I think looks good, but nobody around here plays, so I'm not sure. So
you and I are gonna play, Kevin.
What's that?
Lake Superior. All right.
There you go. You have to teach me your ways.
I will.
I got the first time I got to play, and this is not a testament to my skill in the game, which is I'm sure very dismal. Everyone was learning how to play, so everyone was terrible. But I played as the quest deck. Holden. Thank you. Yeah, that's important.
The one that was in the movie.
yeah, the movie that I was in. So I got to play Holden, and apparently Holden, has a big quest deck, and very true to the movie, is very difficult to win with a quest deck, but it is possible, and I did. I won via quests, and the last the thing that actually sunk it, or not sunk it, but made me win was the whole Apple of Life card.
Really?
I actually did it. Yeah. There was a lot of strong help from the people who were playing. I think they were really rooting for me, but yeah.
Did you use the Brian Lewis card? Guys, I am at work and my lunch break just ended. I'm having a blast talking to you. I'm so sorry to have to run. I gotta go back and do my.
Thank you so much for stopping in. Really appreciate that, and we'll have to hang out again soon, huh?
That sounds great. We can, anytime. That sounds great.
All right. Thanks for hopping on, Connor.
Of course.
Have a good rest of the day, Connor.
As a quick little, ending note, Berserkon's going to be fun the crap out of it, make it happen. Everyone's going to have a blast. The community of geeks and gamers around the world is going to be elevated because this is by gamers for gamers. There's no corporate pocket here. It's all about what we want and what's going to be fun for us. Let's make this happen.
That's an important point, actually.
Good night.
Peace. Where's my camera?
That's actually not a bad point because there's lots of conventions out there that are essentially kind of cookie cutter. There's a huge conglomerate or a huge company or other that makes all these cons. I'm speaking specifically like WizardCon. Where they just kind of put it up there's not a lot of heart to it necessarily. There's a lot of the feeling of kind of Starbucksing it, if I can invent that term.
Sure.
Just like
yes, you can.
Well,
yeah, and at giant conventions, you might end up standing in line for an hour or two for something. And we are not a giant convention. We had about 300 people for our first and second year, which is it's a goodly sized crowd. That's enough people to make some new friends and play a lot of new games.
Oh yeah.
So it is there's appeal to smaller cons in my opinion anyway.
Oh man, I don't when we went before, it was a good vibe, and it was good kind of amount of folk. I mean, everyone was. It wasn't. I've been to a lot of cons and it's just super crowded and it's exciting. There's an element of that. But it also really drains you,
Yes.
And it just can be, sort of. Just you really drag ass, towards the end of the weekend. But this one was just it was just bright and healthy, and everyone was interacting with one another. There was some people who were dressed up as characters from Gamers 2, which I thought was amazing. And we got to play games with a lot of people that were there at the con.
Had some JourneyQuest people as well.
Oh, remember the JourneyQuest panel? Or not the panel thing, but all right. So Kevin Pittman wasn't at the wasn't at Berserkon, but what's his name? The guy who is the dungeon master.
Bill
Cavalier.
Bill
Cavalier, and his actual name is Tom
Lommel.
Oh, not Tom Lommel. So Tom Lommel was there, being Bill Cavalier, the dungeon master, and so he got to play the part of Glorian. And I got to be Caro, and Joanna Gaskell was there, so she kind of played as the elf Nara. So we were all up in there in JourneyQuest, and I think Andy Dalporowski was Perf for a while. Or did you and him swap off as Perf, Scott?
I don't recall.
That's okay. Anyway, so we're all up there on the table, on the panel table, and we got to go through an RPG, a very off the cuff RPG, sort of really really heavy on the improv, and by Matt Vansel because he was also attending, and he kept on saying how whatever happens here is canon, and it's going to be we're going to have to stick to it. And there was a point in our game where Glorian died, and so he actually threw up his hands and he said shit, because he had to deal with that now. But there was a way out of it. We end up like somehow bringing Glorian back to life, so everything was well and good.
At one point in the game, Matt got red carded, and I got picked to replace him as the game master. And you guys are using the fate system.
Yeah.
I don't know the fate system
Right.
at all. So I went up there and I'm kind of trying to make my way through this. And Glorian had put a helmet on, and I needed an out, and so I said that the helmet made him think everyone else in the party was orcs, because I figured that Vansel would rescue me if I tried to kill all of you, and it worked.
Yes.
So that's kind of stuff we've done before. What can we look forward to this year? What are you really excited about? We're not at the deck anymore.
No, we're at the Inn on Lake Superior, which is this just gorgeous destination resort, which is right on the boardwalk. So anyone coming in from out of town, the Canal Park area of Duluth it's really, really nice. The lake is right there. There's a boardwalk, all sorts of fun restaurants and bars, and an arcade, which is a little hard to find these days, with laser tag also.
What?
So,
Nice.
yeah. Right? Yeah. So that happened at some point during the weekend. It's right within walking distance. Everything is. So events. The Romance the Night and Empires tournament is something I'm looking forward to, of course. Also, there's going to be Iron GM again. And for anyone who doesn't know what Iron GM is, it's like Iron Chef. GMs are given a certain list of ingredients. For example, a minotaur, a magic mirror, and the boudoir of the Elven Queen. And you have an hour to make a quest out of that. Everyone in your party also has an hour to make their characters. You get to say 3 words to them before the game starts, like all gnome bards, and they make their characters according to what you have said. After all the prep time, the game lasts 3 or 4 hours, I think, and then your players have a little sheet to fill out about how knowledgeable you were about whatever rules you were using, creativity, attentiveness, fun, things like that. We did that last year, and it was a total blast. And Tom Lom will MC it.
Oh man, yeah. That guy is so talented. Like he's just interesting,
Oh, he's a blast. We had all of the Fear of Girls crew up last year as special guests.
Oh, cool.
So Scott, Ryan Wood and Scott Jorgensen and Tom, who also played Doug. I didn't know that for a long time.
You didn't know that?
After I'd seen Fear of Girls before I'd even seen like Gamers 1. And so I loved it, and then I saw Dungeon Bastard, and I didn't put together that Bill Cavalier was the same actor as Doug for several months.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's just, total different face, nothing alike. It was pretty cool. But
I suppose, from the perspective of an actor, that's always something we like to hear, I guess, is, I didn't recognize you from this other part, because they're so vastly different. Although, like, you also have to swallow the whole kind of precursor to that, which is I didn't recognize you, which is not always good.
I mean, Doug had glasses and didn't wear a blue T-shirt, in my defense,
Right.
So.
He was chromatically different and had different eyewear.
Right, and no sweatpants, so.
Yeah.
But that's something else that has been really awesome about our other 2 years is we'll have guys like Fear of Girls and you guys come and hang out, and it's a really good opportunity to just get to chill. Like at Gen Con, if you stop by the Zoe table, it's always amazing. If you go to Gen Con, go to the Zoe table. But you don't get tons of time to hang out and BS as much as you might otherwise like.
Mm-hmm.
Not very intimate.
So, yeah, of course. I mean, they had like 50,000 people last year. No knock on Gen Con, we love them. But there's not an opportunity for that all the time.
I'll knock on Gen Con.
Oh, you will?
Yeah.
Well.
No problem. I'll take that bullet for you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Scott. Gen Con, I love you, though. It's all good. But yeah. Oh, another thing really pumped about is the Artemis spaceship simulator.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Which will come back, and I'll knock Gen Con just a little bit right here, because our rig, while it doesn't have the same capacity, is cooler than what they have at Gen Con, because we have an enormous screen with lights that activate, like if your shields go up, the room turns blue. If you take enemy fire, the lights flicker, red alert,
Oh,
all
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was really really cool. The whole thing was like connected to. It was an actual like true experience, and I mean there was joysticks. They really went like all out. Like when there was red alert, like when you hit the red alert, like sure enough, like there was red lights that kind of came up, and like the whole thing changed, and
Yeah,
it was pretty great.
yeah.
I've lost your video,
Michael,
Brian.
Lost my video.
Yeah, does anybody else see Brian?
I see
Or
Brian.
is it just me? Okay, I don't. I just see Brian's name.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
don't know why.
yeah, Mario
And a big
Garcia
green
or
screen.
anybody else in the audience, if let me
Oh,
know
there's
if you
Brian.
can't see me. Also,
I see you now.
ask some questions if you would like. Go for it.
Yes, please.
There should be, if you're familiar with Google Hangouts, there should be some sort of like option somewhere where there's a Q&A. And you click on that little app and it should take you to the thing where you can ask questions if you like.
But quick shout out to Michael Maish, who is our Artemis guy, who steals the show every time.
All right, so we got Artemis, we got the Gamer Cruise.
R9E.
Pardon?
R9E
R9E.
tournament.
There is also, I think, Giant Settlers of Catan is coming back.
Yes, indeed.
See, there's Defenders, and there's also, what about the movie?
Yeah.
I was making fun of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
Two?
That's
Which one?
one. I liked two.
One.
Two was.
You liked
Yeah.
2? I didn't even see
like-
it. It looks so terrible.
Oh, dude, no. I thought the 2 was a much truer D&D style movie. Like whoever made it seemed to be more familiar with the game. But 1 is more
Isn't
classic.
that the one with Marlon Wayans?
No, that's 1.
That's my one.
Okay.
Yeah, no. One is just more classically awful. 2 was, done by the Sci-Fi Channel, so the budget wasn't quite there. But no, check it out. Wrath of the Dragon God, D&D 2 is good stuff. D&D 1 is not, though. So that's what the guys will be riffing. Sunday night is kind of a final event.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
Do you have the capability of looking at the Q&A option?
I think so.
Because I could read some of these things off, but some of these things, they're all by Mario right now, and you can get rid of them if you feel that you've already answered them as sort of like host of this thing.
Okay. Let's see here.
So Mario Garcia writes, "What do you like to cook?"
What do
I'm actually going
I
to
like to cook? Or?
Oh, I think it's probably just a question all around. I'm actually going to,
okay.
as soon as we get off this thing, I'm going to be cooking some green deviled eggs for a St. Patrick's Day party I'm attending. Oh, it's just green. It's just green food dye. What's that?
I'm
face?
sorry. I'm sorry, but green eggs is just, it's not very susical to me, and
I'm
just
putting
looks
bacon
like
in it. It's going to be
bad
green eggs
food.
and ham.
Yeah, that's true. And if you could just do like the yolk to be, like a sunny side up egg with a green yolk, that would be perfect. But you don't, and then you're doing deviled eggs, so you scoop the yellow part out to make that green, right?
Yeah.
So it's still sitting on a dollop of gelatinous white egg, and it just looks like it's all good. It's kind of like this orange right here that I finally figured out what the smell is That's an orange that has gone bad.
I like how you kept it there anyway. You've discovered this. And
Yeah.
yourself.
Oh, that's too bad. Oh well.
Trash. Nope. I'm gonna keep this centerpiece around just as a conversational tool.
Well, green and orange.
I just discovered it right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. But I've been watching a lot of Hannibal lately, so I would like to try cooking a variety of exotic meats.
Some exotic meats. Okay. That's not like a euphemism or something like that, right? Like that.
Well, they had something called long pig.
Later on, do we? No, I'm sorry. I'm making jokes. Go ahead.
Oh, no. So was I. But yeah, you know, I'm not especially picky. Also been watching a lot of stuff.
What kind of exotic meats are you interested in cooking? Like, do you have like, oh, I really want to try bear or something?
That would be awesome. But buffalo is a thing I'm going to be working with some more often now because I'm trying the whole paleo thing. So we'll see how that goes.
That's kind of neat. Although, never mind. I was trying to remember the difference between buffalo and bison.
Oh.
I think buffalo is
Not
wild
much.
and bison is not wild. Pretty sure that is that.
I don't know. I always thought it was the same thing.
I don't know if I have any like really jonesing to try any kind of like exotic meats. I mean, I hear you on the whole bison issue. I was actually thinking like that might be really good and some stuffed peppers. But like when over there, it was like $9 for like a pound, and so I don't think I'll be doing that. Yeah.
It's wildly expensive, definitely.
Oh, cool! You found it. So you got rid of some of these questions then?
Let's see here. So like to cook. Scott, what do you like to cook?
Oh, okay. I am finding now that I like to dice up some meat, and whether that's chicken or even a ground turkey or ground beef, and just season it with a lot of good seasonings, some herbs and such, and then throw in some pasta and some cooked veggies, and it's a really good low-cal, easy to do, all-in-one skillet type deal meal that tastes really good and is very healthy.
Oh. Have you guys heard of dump dinners?
That is a terrible title for whatever you're talking about.
It's not what it sounds like. If you think it sounds like poop, because that's not what it is. You take a bunch of stuff and you just throw it into the same like casserole dish, and I mean sauce, uncooked noodles, meat, cheese, whatever, and you just put it in the oven, and it
you just
comes
dump it all
done.
in there.
You just dump it all in there,
Okay.
and it works. It's weird. I never would have thought it.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that's not doesn't sound good. Like it probably would work out really well. I'm just thinking that if ever someone wanted that to catch on, they would need to think of a better like catchy alliteration kind of name. Because I don't know, dump dinner. Like that's just like I'm already out. Like if anyone asks, hey, do you want some dump dinner? I think 9 out of 10. Whoever's on the other end of that question will say no. No, thank you. That sounds horrible.
So when you guys come out this way, if I made you a dump dinner, you wouldn't eat it.
Well, no. I
as
now
long
know
as
what
there's
it
not
is.
2 girls and a solo cup around, I will eat it. But otherwise, I'm staying away. Just
you're on a cup-free diet.
Wow. I hope I'm not on a cup-free diet. I would be a little backed up.
So, what else we got to look forward to? Like, if I was a a fan, interested to coming to Berserkon, what kinds of things am I going to be looking forward to? What kind of things can I expect?
If we're talking about, being a Zoe fan, there's the card tournament. We're also going to be doing some Mask of Death games.
Okay.
And one thing that we've done at Gen Con is we've had 2 tables running at the same time that Ben Dobbins and I have done.
Mm-hmm.
And then, at some point there is, I don't want to give anything away, but the tables come into contact with each other in kind of a mirror universe thing. Which
I was there for one of those. That's pretty awesome.
That was so fun, right? I was a little surprised when Christian took a whiz on the Black Ooze. Didn't expect that.
No one ever does.
Never been tried before.
That's true. It was,
Did it render it innate and friendly, or?
Well, I mean, the funny thing is, like ammonia does the bonding. No, it didn't make it friendly. It did make it friendly. It tried to kill him. But another event. Saturday night will be an 18+ thing. It will be a reading of select passages from 50 Shades of Grey. And our special guests will have to draw a name out of a hat that our Kickstarter backers will be able to pick, and they will have to read the passage, sometimes together in the voice of the name. So, for example, Miss Piggy and Inspector Gadget,
Right.
or
Okay.
Barney the Dinosaur, or whatever.
Well, I can do Barney the Dinosaur.
I can too. Can't really do Miss Piggy.
You can't really do Miss Piggy?
Can you do
How
it?
about you?
That's all I got.
There you go.
Yoda, Scott?
Yoda, can I do? Yes. No. Yeah. Not really.
That's absolutely perfect. That's even better.
Thank you.
I am
So,
Yeah, we gotta have some what about what's his face Batman, Christian Bale Batman in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear Anastasia Steele's part read by Christian Bale Batman. That would.
I think actually that has the potential to get like super creepy super fast. I think actually. Not having read the book, but knowing vaguely what it's about, I don't know. You want someone to say those words like this?
I feel so safe in his arms. Oh my God, that's going to be amazing.
Yikes.
I'm trying to brush up on my Gandalf, so maybe that might be a good one to put in there. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think.
That's a good one.
In years past, Bill Cosby might have been a good choice, but let's try to stay away from Bill Cosby with this particular situation, eh?
Hopefully, but that's completely out of my hands.
I'm gonna tie up and do some stuff to him.
The pudding, and yeah, you're just giving people ideas now.
Yeah.
Okay, and next topic.
Next topic. What would be the best place to eat near the con? There are all sorts of really cool places to eat near the con.
Hold it. Can we amend that question to what is semi-healthy to eat near the con that is not laden in either grease or cheese?
We're going to Minnesota, dude.
So there's a liquor store that is like, but I mean, there's a grocery store within driving distance if you don't feel like all the eat out fare. Most of the places have one or two vegetarian options, but the stuff around the convention center is all pretty opulent. We've got a Mexican place called Little Angie's Cantina. There's this amazing little hole-in-the-wall coffee shop called Amazing Grace. that is like you got to go down some stairs to get to it. And they got all kinds of stuff in there. Haven't been in a little while, but I seem to remember they have like some vegan options as well.
So when we were by the deck, there sorry to cut you off, Kevin. There was like a pizza kind of joint sort of thing which was awesome. What are we looking for? Where we're at right now? Like is there like a pizza place? Is there a burger place? Is there pub fare? Like what's going on?
It's all the same stuff. The deck is only about 3 blocks away from the Inn on Lake Superior. So, yeah, you're still smack in the middle of Canal Park. So, Old Chicago, which is where that pizza place was. They got Red Lobster, Grizzlies, Subway. Oh, there you go, Scott. They got a Subway. So, there's that. Right, buddy? But yeah, so there's no lack of options. It's very nice, and if the weather is good, they've got this little seafood crab shack out by the pier, which is super cool.
Yeah, that would be good food.
Yes.
Not that any of the other food is not good. The Grizzlies that we went to last year or 2 years ago was really good.
Mm-hmm.
It was just funny trying to find a salad. A salad was, here's a head of iceberg lettuce and a jar of blue cheese dressing. So, if anybody's on food restrictions, just be prepared.
Oh, we forgot to put your pig on your salad. Here you go. There's the pig on your salad.
That would be at Famous Dave's. But yeah, so plenty of cool food places to eat near the con.
Cool.
Even they have coffee shops.
Yes, there's 2. Come to think of it, there's also a Caribou Coffee. Which is sort of a Minnesota chain, and I'm a big fan.
Yeah, it's quite good.
So in Minnesota, like, are there lots of different cons that are like this? Or do people who like cons have to, travel great distances in order to actually, be at one?
Well, there aren't that many dedicated gaming cons. There is Con of the North, which is the only, convention with the emphasis on gaming. There are, just general sci-fi comics, anime, things like that conventions where gaming will definitely take place. But in the Duluth area, for about 200 miles, 300 miles in every direction, not a lot of conventions. Well, I mean, apart from the stuff that goes on in the cities, of course, is what I mean. There is one called SagaCon that I went to this year. They're pretty small. Happens at UWS. They had about 90 people this year, which is a record for them, and I got to meet a lot of cool people there and tell them about Berserkon. So that was fun.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Mm-hmm. So this is a relatively, say, here in Seattle. I mean, there's lots of different cons. There's PaizoCon, there's ECCC. There is PAX, all these kinds of other things. But where you're at in Minnesota, like a lot of those people, what you're saying is they essentially, if they want a good con, they have to travel a great distance. But we're actually bringing it home for them, so they don't actually have to go to all these far off places if they want to have a good environment where gamers can hang out and have a good time with one another.
Absolutely, and I think part of what a convention, what makes conventions so fun is, the opportunity to go to events that you wouldn't normally be able to go to on a regular weekend of gaming. As much as a regular weekend of gaming is great, or meet people that you otherwise wouldn't have the chance to meet, which is both special guests like you guys or just making new friends, trying new games. So that's why I think gaming conventions are really cool and important for the community of gamers. You know what I mean? Kind of stirs the pot.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Mario Garcia asks us what our favorite characters to play in RPGs or classes, races, that kind of thing.
Dwarf Battle Turtle.
A dwarf battle turtle?
Yeah.
Have you ever actually got to play that?
That was my last character. I was in Spike Plate. I was a dwarf. I could carry more goods, which was why I got to have Plate and Spiky, and nobody could grapple with me, and I could just stomp the shit out of people. It was awesome.
I always wanted to play one of those like prestige class kind of things that are like all about the grappling. Like they have the spiky business or whatever, and they're just like just wicked good at it, and like somehow, like I think if it's built correctly, I think that like something like that could be devastating as far as like when it comes to combat, because they can just, I mean, people are really set things up essentially for their weapons, and if there's this guy that just doesn't use them, like doesn't really allow you to use them either because you're in this grapple situation that you're not haven't put the skills in for per se. Or you don't do it very well for whatever reason. I think that could be like really, really cool, like a really cool character.
Yeah, there was an archetype in 3.5 called the Reaping Mauler, which if you won a grapple and maintained it, I think 3 rounds, you just broke their neck and they died.
Oh wow!
Hit points out the window, so that was cool.
Mm.
Right now, I'm in a friend's game running a half-orc Skulking Slayer, which is an orc archetype for rogue, which means I get to roll d8s instead of d6s when I use a big two-handed sword.
Holy smokes.
Yes, when I charge. And I've also taken the Scout archetype, which means every time I move 10 feet, it counts as a charge, and I get to do sneak attack damage. And I also took some levels of Fighter, so I can add the two-handed Fighter archetype, so I'm adding twice my strength mod to the damage I do with my sword instead of 1.5. And I've taken a couple levels of Barbarian, so I can run 10 feet farther, and I can Rage, which is also multiplied by 2. I have a problem.
You were wicked good at like making these kinds of characters. That's one of the things that was really impressive about the mod is the characters were just like you took all the details that you could from the movie and made characters, but like obviously there's some things you had to like fill in the blanks with, and like just these characters are incredibly impressive, especially like a character like Joanna, whereas this wicked amazing fighter, but does have to incorporate the fact that she's like very brittle and like you just had to like be very good at actually sculpting these things, and that's something that always really impressed me about your ability to do so, is creating characters.
Oh, thanks, man. A big part of writing that module was filling in holes that Matt didn't care about because it was written to be a movie. So that got challenging sometimes. There was a fun challenge, and like people on the Dead Gentleman Facebook page, I remember saying, well, how come you can countersong the fear aura of the Death Demon? And I had to reach into my hat and say, aha, here's why, because it's a sonic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So.
I'll be right back.
Okay. But, yeah, so how long have you been playing in your game, Scott, or is this a one-shot thing with your dwarf?
No, that was something that Andy and I were doing with Chris Odie a year ago. We ran about 6 or so campaigns, but with it's really hard to nail us down with any regularity for games anymore. So that's sort of one of the bad parts.
True that. I remember when we were doing the Mask of Death the first time, Scott was playing Flynn. Do you remember this, Scott? And
of course I do.
It seems to have
one.
you did, dude. You remember the details of that? It's one of my favorite gaming stories ever.
I can't remember. Something about we were turning the holes into cement and gobbling up the bad guys, but the one I remember was springing the trap that tilted the floor, because it's what I would have done, and the whole party started careening towards the edge of an abyss.
Well, I was
That might be
talking about the. Oh, go ahead.
I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about, but I think that might be two different games that you're talking about there, Scott.
Could be. Could totally be.
I think the slanting floor thing was a JourneyQuest game, and that we played with some fans and stuff. And so I was just away. What are y'all talking about?
Oh, I was telling this really epic story of how Scott Flynn the Fine saved the day the first time we did the Mask of Death playtest.
Oh, so yeah, totally.
Oh, dude, it was so sick. So it seems to always come down to Turk being the last guy standing. Not always, but a lot of Mort Kemnon's minions because you can't hit him. He's got like 35 AC or whatever, so everyone's running around trying not to get killed by Turk. Because my logic was Leo had only ever played fighters, so he knew how to make a really, really mean fighter. And so here's Flynn the Fine, who'd been dying a lot, because that's his job, really. And so he's got the Rod of Resurrection, and Scott starts asking me questions about use magic device. And he's like, well, could I somehow rig this thing to cast Resurrection on Turk? And I was like, yes, let's do this. And then he rolls I go, but it's not really meant to do that, so you got to, give me a really good roll. And he rolled I don't know if it was a 20, but it was it was way up there, like a 19 or a 20 or something.
It was amazing.
It was
very
so
uncharacteristic for both me and Flynn.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was just the most epic thing, though, dude. So you may never roll a 20 like that again.
We're all like, that's not. Wait a minute. That might work.
So yeah, though that was super great. Brian has yet to cut his limbs off with the Psionic Spirit Blade because he usually plays Brother Silence.
Yeah.
And if you crit fumble on that, there's a chance for you to dismember yourself, which has never happened yet.
Well, to us anyway. Like, I'm sure it happened to other folks. That's okay.
That's probably true.
I'm looking forward to at some point hearing those kinds of stories. Like, I was playing Brother Silence, and I had the lightsaber, and I couldn't help it, but yeah, rolled really bad, and cut off my own head.
Which got awkward.
What's that?
Which got a little awkward.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to lose that much damage to your intelligence score. It's just unhelpful.
That's right.
Here's another question from Mario. What are your favorite con events, or do you even get to participate?
Panels.
Do you want to go first?
Being on panels.
Panels are always fun. Having an opportunity to kind of interact with some people and being able to pretend like you actually know something about a particular subject.
Every one of your panels that I've gone to has been just a ton of fun. Absolutely fantastic time. Have you guys done True Dungeon before at Gen Con, by the way?
No, I keep on missing it. Somehow, I'm unable to be in the right time, right place, kind of thing. But yeah, when our group has gone before, they've they've gone to the thing, but I'm just not there for whatever reason.
Mm.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, that's super great, and you guys, if you make it to Gen Con this year, you should absolutely go. My favorite event is Pathfinder. I like to run games and go to panels. So that's what I'm into.
Yeah, it depends on the kind of convention we're going to, because a lot of conventions are a lot of different. Now, if we're talking about Gen Con, we have Gamers Live, we have these events, and those are always fun. So good. We have oftentimes have scheduled kind of things where we have some GMs. Sometimes Matt Vance will be the GM, and we like play a specific game with the fans, and that's always like really like a blast. Never had a bad one of those. We did it one time with you when you were talking about before with the whole like two simultaneous teams. But that's like some of the larger cons. Some of the smaller cons. Yeah, I would say panels. Like when I've gone to Spokon, like they always have like a lot of panels that they put us in, and that's sure a lot of fun. Also, I love going to see the costume parties, not costume parties, but costume contests. Those are really kind of cool to see, like because that is the way a lot of geeks can kind of take their craftiness and take their their fandom, and they can show us what they can do. Like they some of them can get really, really creative and like make some really great costumes. So that's always kind of fun to see.
In the cosplay scene in Gamers 3, did anyone there bring costumes they had made, or was that all Zoe stuff?
I think all of them did.
See,
yeah.
That's kind of what I thought. People get really elaborate and do amazing jobs with the things they put out.
Oh man, totally. Like, and some of those people just like really went all out. Like, I know that we had, I think we had some costume pieces, here and there. We had some backup things, whatever. But people were really encouraged to make their own stuff. And man, there were some folk who just really got into it. Like Mike Ott, he had figured out, because you have such a certain kind of information that you're given, to kind of like make your costume, and so they were given some information like details about the different houses and things, and like he had the Ord, and so he painted himself all blue, and he had like this like thing, and there were some other people who made these like wonderful looking dresses with like insignias of their house on them, and it was really a lot of fun to see what other people had come up with.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Scott. I feel like I'm like talking over you here. Like,
No, I was just agreeing. It was really awesome. What I really want to do is one of these days I want to try and figure out how we can all tracksuit cosplay, and just everybody be in like some sweats tracksuit that's just slightly. I mean, like you could be in a powder blue with silver trim and go as Caro, and Perf could be in a all yellow with some light accents, and Nara's in all green with. And I think it would just be hilarious to do that with just a little bit of just enough hint to flavor it with the character, but not be boom, here I am.
Are you saying for yourself or for the fans to do this? Because it sounds like you're like...
I don't care. Either or.
Oh, okay. It sounds like you're like, I like the idea of cosplay, but I don't really want to make anything. So I want it to be acceptable for me to show up in gym jams.
Well, it's because if I'm going to cosplay, I'm going as Boba Fett, and I don't have $5,000 to throw around.
That's true.
Speaking of which, thank you for the segue, Scott. The guys from the 501st will be coming back.
Yeah.
Who were phenomenal for our first year. In our second year, we had a member of the 501st also.
Kevin?
Yes.
About the 501st, like, I know what they are, but like, let's pretend that no one does. What is the 501st?
They are the hardcore Star Wars fans who make their own Stormtrooper armor and other outfits as well, and go around to conventions and do charity events, and they're just such good guys. They did a jail and bail for year one, which was great. Which is you pay some money to a charity, and you can say, hey, go arrest Brian Lewis for 5 minutes, and stormtroopers will come and drag Brian away. and he will have to stand there in timeout until someone comes and pays his bail, or until the time runs out.
Yeah, I think that happened to me a couple of times.
Yeah.
Some photos of people like doing that to me for some reason. Like, you know what, who would be a good sport about this and not yell at me later? That Brian guy. He likes being in detention for X amount of minutes. It's fine.
And nobody ever arrests me because they don't want me to have flashbacks or anything, I think.
Yeah, what?
What?
All the other times I've been incarcerated.
Oh, yeah. You're such a hard dude, man.
Next time he comes back, Scott's going to have a little teardrop under his eye tattooed there. It's going to be...
Right, spider webs on my elbows.
There you go. For Gamers 4, they're going to have to make some big changes to Leo.
Kev, I got to hop off in about 6 minutes. Is there anything else that we want to talk about?
Well, I think we've pretty much covered all of our bases. You guys have anything else you can think of?
Well, let's see. We talked about what was going on.
One more thing. I thought of one more thing that we haven't talked about, and this is our only video game event that's not Artemis, which we haven't done for our first 2 years. It's this amazing Flash game called Super Mario Crossover, made by Exploding Rabbit, which you can go and play for free like right now, and if you haven't, you should. Where you get to play all these classic Nintendo characters going through Super Mario Brothers, but you can play it as Mega Man or Samus, Kid Icarus, all these different things with different abilities. And what we're going to do is have a race of that game, kind of like in The Wizard. And then we've got prize support from a local store called iPlay. And that's something that's going to be pretty rad, I think.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. I think that also sounds like a cartoon I watched in the 90s. That had all those Nintendo characters, like, all in the same group.
Captain N, the Game Master.
What's that?
Yeah, it was Captain N, the Game Master.
Oh.
Mother Brain was voiced by the same dude who did Audrey 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I I haven't thought about that in so many years. I kind of like was half thinking it was something I dreamt or whatever.
No, it was real. But anyway, so that's what I remembered. I forgot. Anything else you guys have?
Let's see. We talked about food. We talked about events, and stuff that we're gonna be at and things that we're gonna be looking forward to. Yeah, I guess. No, I don't have anything else.
Are there any other questions coming in?
Well, Mario just says thank you guys so much. And
thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate the support there, Mario.
Earlier he asked how do you distract a beholder, which is with by violating copyright because they're not allowed.
I was gonna say rattle some shiny bits, but like that's probably a better answer. Yours.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you so much, everybody who's watching, and thank you guys so much for coming on and doing this with us to promote the convention.
You bet.
Yeah, if our Kickstarter succeeds, we're going to have an amazing time. That's Duluth, Minnesota, Berserkon, May 29th through the 31st, in on Lake Superior. Check us out at Kickstarter.
Yeah, do you have that ability to somehow share that on this, or put it in the description or something like that on this, just in case people see this later?
Well, I will definitely drop that into the YouTube video description if I'm able to. Let's see if I have enough technical know-how to do anything here. Bet you $1 I don't.
This is going to live longer than right now? Oh, good Lord.
Have you said some things you regret? Well,
always.
Don't worry about it too much, man. Like, we can always just put it in the notes or whatever that when it comes up on YouTube. I'm sure that'll work out just dandy. I don't think anyone else will have access to the question and answer queue on when it's on YouTube anyway.
That's true. Okay. Well, thank you guys, and thank you everyone, and we'll see you in May.
Peace.
Yeah. Check out.